Hey everybody, welcome to my channel, or welcome back. I was having a conversation with my friend best friend this morning, and I told her, well, actually it was last night, and I said, I need to do a video on that. And I said, but I need to write this down because so many times I go, I get ready to do a video, and I'm like, what was I supposed to do a video on? This one I remembered, so it's a message you guys need to hear. So stick with me because I'm not sure how it's all going to unfold, but because it came through so strong and I remembered it, it's meant to be. So back when I started my journey, I was going to a spiritual coach to try to, again, I wanted to communicate with animals, and it wasn't working the way I thought it should have been working. So I was trying to clear me. I was trying to open my chakras, clear energy, just figure everything out, right? And she told me about a book because, and it doesn't matter why she told me about the book, but anyway, she told me about a book. And at that point, I hated to read. Now, when I was in kindergarten, I couldn't get enough books. I outread the class. After that, I guess my soul went into, okay, I've read enough for my entire life. I'm done. Because from that point on, you couldn't get me to read a book. When I read this book, I read it in 2 days. 2 days, I sat and I read and I read and I read. It was like, oh my God, it called my soul on such a deep level. I can't even explain the feeling. It was Anna, Voice of the Magdalens. It is a book that talks about, Anna is Jesus's grandmother. And it was a channeled book. This woman that she channeled Anna, and another woman transcribed everything or wrote it down or whatever you call it. Anyway, the two of them together created this book. And it talked about Jesus's life, what he was, what he went through, their lives with the Essenes and all of that kind of stuff. And I remember, and I read it, like I said, in 2 days. It's probably that thick. Anyway, everything in there just really, truly resonated with me. And it even talked about Jesus getting married and with Mary Magdalene. They had children, all of that kind of stuff. A couple years later, I ran across one of my supervisors when I was a security manager. One of my supervisors had gone to school to be a preacher. That's what he wanted to do. Well, it didn't work out, so he was now working as a security manager or supervisor. And we were having this conversation, and I told him, because at this point, I'm still trying to figure things out, right? But I know that what I read really resonated with me. It just made so much sense, and it gave me a peace. And that was just one of the many things that was covered in this book. But anyway, so I'm having this conversation with him, and I said, I would love for you to read this book and give me your take on it. He couldn't even get through the first chapter. He's like, Pam, I can't read it. It goes against everything that I believe. And he was so narrow-minded because of what he was taught. You're taught that Jesus is the end-all, be-all. He's better than everybody. He's divine. We're submissive to him. We're less than Jesus, all that kind of stuff. And his words to me about if Jesus had gotten married, he was like, that couldn't happen. I said, why? He said, because Jesus was celibate. I said, were you there? And he said, no, but Jesus was celibate. He did not get married. He'd never had sex. And I was like, okay, that first, and this is where people like us, we question, it doesn't make sense. We don't just go with what we're told, right? And I was like, okay, first of all, if God created Jesus to walk on this earth as a man, you tell me what man does not want to have sex. Find one. They are very few and far between. They just probably don't even exist. So Jesus would want to have that physical connection, and especially if he's spiritual, okay? Anyway, I'm telling this guy, I was like, Jesus he came here to be a man. He would have, and supposedly was a Jew. Supposedly. Jewish men get married and have children. That's their thing. Jesus's mom and dad got married. They had him. Anyway, and his point was, no, he would not have gotten married, and he would not have had sex, period, and he would not have had children. And beside the point of that, he said, because if he did, it would have taken the focus off of Jesus. And people would have started focusing on his wife and kids. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me, right? I said, what's wrong with that? Because the religion teaches that women are less than. And I'm not going in, I've done videos on this, the divine feminine and all that kind of stuff. And more will come about that, because there's something in that I need to dissect and I really need to get into. But that's coming. So nothing he said made any sense. So I'm still running with Jesus because it resonated with me. It made sense. Jesus got married, had kids, whole bit. Then, like within that same time frame, I was watching a lama. Lama? Yeah. He had gone to Tibet, been, anyway. And he tells this story. He goes in and I stopped watching him because he was so into ego. He was so into how great he was and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, I just can't even handle all this. I'm that in a bag of chips. That's not resonating with me. But he was talking about what they're taught as lamas, Tibetan monks, whatever. And because they're tied to the Essenes. And supposedly Essenes were in Jesus's life all along, which I'm not questioning that. And he says emphatically that Jesus did not get married. He and Mary were cousins. They never had a relationship. And he goes through this whole thing. Well, when I heard that, it was like, I won't say it was a knife went through my heart. It just gave me the worst feeling. I was like, and I started to question it. Because you're listening to a lama who's supposed to be connected. Well, okay. Thank you for that reminder. Pope. Think about the Pope who's supposed to be next to God. You don't get a godlier person on this planet than the Pope. How many of them have been corrupt? How many of them have raped little boys? Not going to go down that rabbit hole right now. However, and they teach religion. They teach organized religion, which is all about control and division, and we're better than you. Again, another rabbit hole, not going down. So like I said, for a while, I really questioned, did Jesus really get married? Why does it really make sense to me? But everybody's telling me no. You know what came to me? I'm going to tell you what came to me, because you're not here to say, yeah, sure, tell me. Who cares? That is what came to me. Who cares? Does it really, at the end of the day, does it really matter? Is it impacting your life right now? Whether Jesus, over 2,000 years ago, married Mary Magdalene and had children? No. So who cares? Let it go. I mean, yes, you can be curious. You can be, if it interests you, sure. But don't sit and argue with somebody about it, because again, at the end of the day, you believe what resonates with you and let them believe what resonates with them. You can have a conversation. And just so you know, I still stick with Jesus came, the whole limiting beliefs that we were told were limiting beliefs for a reason. Jesus came here as a man. He got married to Mary Magdalene. She was his counterpart. She was his equal. And this is another point that came to me this morning that I'm going to cover in a minute. Remind me. They had kids. So the other part of it, that people get hung up on their soulmate or their twin flame. I have to find my soulmate. I have to find my twin flame. Again, why? If it is meant to be, it will be. Yes, Jesus and Mary were basically the same soul. He was the divine masculine. She was the divine feminine. They complemented each other. They made each other, I won't say whole, but she had her own following just like Jesus did. But you don't hear about that. You don't hear about women being disciples. Mary continued this after Jesus was gone. So anyway, that's a whole nother point. That's where I stand. I'm not sure where you stand, but that's okay. Don't get hung on, because for a while, I went down this path too. I had to find my soulmate. Where's my soulmate? Have to find my twin flame. Where's my twin flame? Because when you get so stuck on, well, this person isn't my soulmate, you learn, or you miss lessons, you miss friendships, you miss whatever that person was brought into your existence for. If you are so focused on, I have to find my soulmate, I have to find my twin flame, you're going to miss everything, and you probably won't find that person because you're not going to be ready. Everybody that comes into your life is, in essence, a soulmate, or they wouldn't cross your path. Now, whether it is you have a soul contract with everybody that crosses your path. Just like I said in my video yesterday about the traffic jam. You had a soul contract. You had an agreement with all those other people to be in the traffic jam, to save somebody else's life that you don't even know. And you don't even know that that's what happened. So, and it doesn't have to be a traffic jam. It's everything in your life. You know, you go to a party. Everybody at that party has an agreement to be at that party in whatever capacity that they're in, doing whatever they're there doing. So when you get so hung on, I have to find my soulmate, you're probably not going to find it because you have eliminated everything that you need to do to grow. And we need to rephrase that because it's not about doing, it's about being. Every lesson that you need to learn, everything you need to experience, you get to experience prior to that person coming into your existence. And it might not be heaven on earth when that person shows up, because your soulmate might be here not as a divine union of romantic, passionate, I'm totally in love with you stuff. They might be here to help get you to where you're supposed to be, what you came here to do. They might join forces with you to open a business or teach or whatever. It's not always a husband-wife situation. So again, don't get stuck in, and I will tell you, people that I have talked to along the way that find their twin flame, it can be powerful in both directions because you're here as a reflection to each other. You're here, your twin flame is you on the other side of that, basically that mirror. You're looking at you. That's why whatever they do annoys the living hell out of you, because you're seeing it in yourself. It's something you need to focus on, but they're there as a mirror for you. That's why they're your twin flame. It's, it's a twin. It's an identical twin. They might not look the same as you, but inside, they are a mirror of you. So what they do that irritates you, what they do to make you, that triggers you, it's for a reason. It's all to help you. So anyway, at the end of the day, don't get hung up in the details that really don't matter. I finally came to the realization, it's when I got, who cares whether Jesus was married or not? Just be happy. Yes, Jesus came here to show us how to live like Jesus lived. Live in a state of unconditional love. And we're not judging each other. We're not comparing to each other. We're not arguing and complaining and all that stuff. Just see everybody as an individual expression of the one. It's it's like the message I just got. It's like God, creator of all that is, has multiple personality disorder. You are just one personality of the divine. If you've ever known somebody that has multiple personality disorder, they have like multiple. I have not personally. It is the message that I got, so I'm sharing it with you. But people, they have multiple personalities. One minute they can be sweet as pie, and the next minute they're ready to rip your head off, and the next minute there's somebody else. That is what, to help you envision God or the creator and help you wrap your brain around how this works. And this is no disrespect. If you think I'm disrespecting God, source, you need to like leave my channel, because I channel what I'm told. I channel what comes through, and that is exactly what it was. And they were like, okay, say this. Maybe it'll resonate with somebody. The creator of all that is, if you want to think of it as this person up here that's created all this stuff, they have multiple personality disorder. I.e., your personality, my personality, the dog's personality, the tree's personality, everything. It is acting through all of us, everything. So anyway, life is supposed to be fun. Life is supposed to be. We have gotten so brainwashed in the belief systems that I have to be right. No, I don't have to be right. If you have an opposing opinion, tell me. That's how I learned. That's how I've grown to this point, because I was open to more than what I was told. Take what resonates, leave the rest. Like I said, if you honestly, if it makes sense to you that Jesus got married to Mary and they had children, and it makes you happy and it brings you a peace, and it's like, oh my God, that makes sense, then go with it. If it goes against everything you believe and you think that, yeah, that's just not even right, okay, that's your belief system. At the end of the day, who cares? I'm not going to sit here and argue with you about it. I believe what I believe. It works for me. In this existence, I don't remember being there, witnessing the wedding, watching the children be born. I don't remember that. Maybe one day I will. I don't know. But you weren't there either. So who says you're right? I'm not saying I'm right. I'm saying this is what I believe, and this is what resonates with me. Now, if you tell me, yes, I was there and I saw it in a past life, and we'll chat. But don't come at me with limiting beliefs because you refuse to see it any other way. And you want to dictate to me through the limited mindset of education and organized religion. No, I don't think so. And another point I will tell you. My husband asked me last night, he said, have you heard of this book, another book? And I said, no. And he played a video. And I don't know how you really truly pronounce this book. I will spell it. But the video is everything that I tell you. I didn't even know this book existed, but it talks about things beyond what we're told, like Jesus. And it says, we are taught that Jesus came here to die for your sins. Well, that's externalizing your power. And the book talks about how God is within you. You have a God spark in you. It's things that I talk about all the time. And here it is in a book that was, some guy supposedly was in a sleep state, but he talked in his sleep. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to get the book, and my husband and I are probably going to read it because it resonates. And it's Urantia, the Urantia book. It's Urantia. Check it out. Read it yourself with an open mind. And I think a lot of you guys, if you follow me, it will resonate with you. People that want to get stuck in religion are going to say it's the devil's work. Yeah, that's their limiting belief. I choose to live in a place of love and see things from a place of love. And everything that this book is talking about, that this video was talking about, comes from that place. And how the earth fits into everything, and we're not the center of the universe, and we're not the shit. We're just a small speck that fits into everything. And it talks about who Jesus was. And I'm not going to give you all the details, but like I said, because I can't remember all of them. But anyway, again, take what resonates and leave the rest. And that's, but don't get, there are so many people that still want to get stuck in and stay so focused on religion. And you know what? Don't argue with them. This is where the thing I watched, and I mentioned this in the last video about the interview with Bashar. This is where the split is taking place. There are multiple splits, but like he said, we talk about two because it's a planet of duality. You've got good and bad, light and dark, all that nonsense. Anyway, you have people that are so stuck in what they believe that they think it's true. Look at the media. Look at that woman that was the spokesperson or whatever the heck she was. It spewed all those lies about Biden. She's written a book, and she's knocking everything that's going on now. I think she, honest to God, is so delusional. She believes that Biden was the best president and that Trump is messing everything up. There are people that believe that nonsense. And then you've got the rest of us that believe something totally different. That Biden was a complete idiot. He was a shell of a person. And he was not even running the government because he couldn't. And everything they were telling you was a lie. And we're seeing how Trump is turning that around. So you've got two totally separate beliefs. And whatever you are vibrating at, that's where you're going. And there are multiple, because there are people that are awake on every level. Some of you are there with me. We get it. We know that the corruption crosses many, many, many things. education, religion, government, all of it. Big pharma. It's not one thing. And then you've got people that are so stuck in just the government, but they refuse to see any of the rest of the stuff. Or they see big pharma and they refuse to see any of the rest of the stuff. You know, and then you've got people that just refuse to see any of it. And they want to continue to believe the lies, even though we see it in real life, but they choose to believe the lies. So wherever you are vibrationally, that's where, and honestly, I say this, I can't wait to get away from the people that just refuse, that are so stuck in the agenda. I really can't, because I'm sick of it. I'm really sick of it. It's like, for me anyway, it's almost painful to watch these people just be so delusional. And I know they're here for a reason. I know they're serving a purpose. But anyway, so stay in a place of love. Stay in a place of openness. Don't ever get to the point where you think you know it all. And any other opinion has got to be wrong. Because then you shut yourself down. You don't continue to grow. And we are here to learn and grow. So I hope this makes sense. If it resonates with you, click the like button. Subscribe to my channel. I would recommend reading Anna, The Voice of the Magdalens. And there was another one that she did. There's 2 books. I don't have it here. I think I've already packed it up. There were 2 books that Anna did. Read it. See what resonates with you. And then that Urantia book. Or Urantia book. However you say it. Read it. See if it resonates. So anyway, I send you love. I send you light. I'm here to help guide you. So you believe whatever you choose to believe. But stay open. I'm still open. You know, if somebody I'm still learning. That's, again, what we're here for. So have an amazing day, and we will talk soon.